Hello and welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company and Elon Musk. We have had some excellent news actually yesterday in regards to the Boring Company. They are pursuing a new project in LA. It's going to go to the Dodger Stadium and link up with the red line of the metro. Now, if you go onto the Boring Company website, they have updated it, and as you can see, we have a whole host of information in regards to this project. A lot of very interesting pieces of information in here. I'm very excited, very excited about this. This is an excellent development. It shows that we're actually slightly ahead of where we believed we were. This project is going to start reasonably quickly. And could be completed by the beginning of 2020, which is brilliant because we can start to bring in revenue and actually test the project. So, the project is going to be known as the Dugout Loop. Obviously, again, it's based in Los Angeles. It links to the Dodgers Stadium. So, what do we know about this project? The information is pretty fresh. We only recently got it. It runs via the Dodger Stadium under Vin Scully Avenue and Sunset Boulevard. It joins up with the Metro Red Line. There's three options. They're currently pursuing three options in discussion with local residents to see which one is the most viable. It'll either link up with Sunset Station, Santa Monica Station, or Beverly Station, and they're all on the red line. It's approximately 3.6 miles long. Now, when I've looked at this on Google Maps, I'm coming up with around 4.3 miles, so I'm unsure where the 3.6 miles has come from. Even an absolute perfect straight line isn't 3.6 miles. So we'll have to see how that develops. But according to the Boring Company website, we have 3.6 miles. The plan is it will be used to transport baseball fans to the Dodger Stadium in less than 4 minutes. Pretty impressive. Currently, at the moment, if you were to get off the metro at Sunset Station, it could, on a match day, take you anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to get to the Dodger Stadium. So again, this is a massive improvement. This is a real use case for the technology. If this is successful, this could be the number one way that the actual fans get to the game, which would be perfect. So hopefully we can expand this and make this into quite a profitable enterprise. It consists of a single underground tunnel and up to 6 ventilation/exit shafts. So it'll actually initially only run in one direction. So let's say you had 10 pods, you'd run the pods eastbound to drop the passengers off at the stadium, and then you'd run them back westbound, all 10 at the same time. So you wouldn't have pods running both westbound and eastbound because there's only one tunnel. You'd have 6 ventilation exit shafts. Basically, that's for safety reasons, obviously, to ensure that the air is ventilated adequately, and in case there's an emergency, people can escape from the tunnels. Here's a picture of the Dodger Stadium. Really beautiful stadium. What an amazing view. Clearly, there is a lot of land there to be utilised for the actual pods to be situated, for the lift shafts, and as you will learn, also escalator shafts. So, if you look at the original plan by the Boring Company, the actual Dodger Stadium is on the original plan. However, this particular line, the 3.6 mile long line, isn't on the map here. It would run westbound from the Dodger Stadium. Okay, so let's have a look at what's actually been said. Let's get into the details. It is an approximately 3.6 mile tunnel will connect Dodger Stadium to the western terminus entirely beneath public right-of-way or land owned or leased by the Boeing company. So clearly there are some opportunities for landowners who are located along the route to lease their land to the Boeing company so that the actual Boeing company can go underneath their land. So it's definitely a nice little money earner for them if they can get in touch with the Boeing company, or even better, the Boeing company might contact them. The eastern terminus will be located on privately owned property at or near the Dodger Stadium parking lot. As you can see from that previous image, the parking lot is quite considerable. Following construction of the tunnel, the Boeing company will install the concrete shelves which serve as the guideway for the electric skates. Unlike many transportation tunnels, the entire tunnel will be fully illuminated. Now, if you, I believe it was my second video, I actually suggested this. It certainly helps people if they can see where they're going when they're underground, and with the pods being made largely of laminated glass, this is a very good idea. Very happy to see that. And it won't be that expensive to do. You're not going to require hundreds and hundreds of bulbs. It'd probably be LED lighting, similar to what you use, maybe an industrial version of what you use behind your TV to light it up, as like background lighting, which you could use various colours. You'd probably stick maybe to like a cool white colour. Okay, so construction of the tunnel and the 2 loop lifts is expected to last up to 14 months. This is the key bit here, likely much less. Very interesting that they would put that in there. Construction of the ventilation shafts is expected to take approximately 6 weeks and will be constructed concurrently with development of the tunnel. So just a bit of maths here for you. 1 mile is 1,609 metres. We've got a 3.6 mile tunnel, so that's 5,793 metres. 5,793 metres divided by 14 months equals 414 metres per month. If you divide that by 28 days in your typical month, equals 15 metres per day, or 0.00038 miles per hour, which is not too bad for a TBM. However, Gary the Snail can achieve 0.003 miles per hour. So if they were to improve that tenfold, so if they could do 150 meters per day, that would be faster than Gary the Snail. But I don't think in this early stage that's possible. They might be able to double that. They might be able to do 0.0008 miles per hour, for example. I think that's very possible, especially as they are saying that's likely much less in terms of the time. Very interesting to see them say that. Hopefully they can complete the project in less than a year. It would be good to see it completed in 2019. The loop is a zero-emissions, high-speed underground public transportation system in which passengers are transported on autonomous electric skates travelling at 125 to 150 miles per hour. Electric skates will carry between 8 and 16 passengers. How much will a dugout loop trip cost? The fares are not finalised, but will cost around $1. Now, I have no idea why the Boeing company keeps saying this. You can't make money for $1. A better number would be around $3 to $4. Also, you're competing with the Metro, and I'm getting the impression that the Metro is not entirely that keen on the Boeing company building tunnels alongside its network, hence why they want them to run perpendicular to their network, so it kind of helps them rather than competes with them. $1 is not enough. You're not going to make any money when you factor in maintenance costs and actual the costs of interest payments to finance the projects. Okay, so how do I buy a ticket? Initially, riders will be able to reserve times and purchase Dugout Loop tickets in advance, similar to booking seats at a movie theatre via a mobile app, over the phone or in person. So initially for this project, there will only be a set number of tickets per day. It's not like you can just turn up and hope to get a ticket. You'll probably have to book many days or even weeks in advance if there's a big game coming up. And there will be limited tickets available. I can't imagine that will continue for very long. Initially, the Dugout Loop will be limited to approximately 1,400 people. That's 2.5% of the capacity per event. Based on city and community feedback, it could be possible to increase ridership per game to 2,800 or 5% of the stadium capacity. Between games and events, the Dugout Loop would transport 250,000 people per year. So that is a decent amount of money if you are charging $3 or $4. Obviously, they want to charge $1, which is insane, but that would be amazing if they could achieve that in 2020. They could move 250,000 people. That would be phenomenal. That would really be a good test of this system, test the technology to show that it works, and then they can expand the system massively over the next 20 years to basically take over the entire city. That's my hope for this project. They eventually produce a 1,000-mile network just in LA. Okay, so here's some more information. The Boeing Co has made technical progress much faster than expected and has decided to make its first tunnel in Los Angeles an operational one, hence the Dugout Loop. Very interesting. So it's good to see they're making progress extremely fast. I was very surprised to see this announcement yesterday evening. It's really good to see this. It shows that the LA actual council are on board with this. They want to take place, and it potentially could grow quite quickly after this has been proven to be successful. So, the Boeing Company is excited to build upon useful public transportation tunnels in Los Angeles, including Sepulveda, and is exploring concepts for potential future alignment. So, if you've seen my video from yesterday, you'll have noticed that the Boeing Company has acquired quite a decent-sized plot of land along South Sepulveda Boulevard. So, all these projects are stacking up. They're not quite knitted together, but I imagine it eventually they will link up all the tunnels so you can travel all across LA. This is the most interesting thing that has come out of the Q&A on the Boeing Company website. One initial conceptual idea is a tunnel connection between Metro's Purple and Expo lines. So again, that's another project that could potentially be taking place in the next 12 months. That would be really, really useful. Obviously, that helps the metro system. It's not competing with the metro system, it's actually helping them. So you have to use the Purple line to then get onto the Boeing Company line that will take you to the Expo. And then you'll obviously take the Expo line to wherever you need to go. So it looks like the Metro is working hand in glove with the Boeing Company, but has some kind of control over where the Boeing Company builds its tunnels. I can't imagine that'll last for much longer. I think Elon Musk is just playing along for now, building up his network. Eventually, he will start competing with the Metro system, especially if he starts building out his network into the suburbs. So, very interesting, very interesting. Hopefully that gets announced very soon, that link up between the Purple line and the Metro line. So, we've also got these very interesting pictures that kind of go against what we've thought previously, although looking at them, they do make a lot of sense. So, this picture bottom left will be at the Dodgers Stadium. So you actually have a ramp coming up from the tunnel, and the actual pods go to the surface, and then you disembark from the pod at the surface rather than having a lift, which makes sense because you have the land there at the Dodgers Stadium, and I'd imagine that they could sacrifice some land for the pods to park. I think it's a really good idea, definitely a good idea. And unlike a lift shaft, there's no mechanical elements, so it can't fail. This other diagram, top right hand corner, shows the actual station next to the red line, possibly at Santa Monica Station. So again, you have the actual pods at surface level, something I did not expect, parked there, ready to go. So it's interesting because I'm not really sure quite how that works. I'd imagine that when you're getting on to the system at the red line, you would get into the pod at the surface. It would then go down the lift shaft, and then it would take you to the Dodgers Stadium. Whereas if you're coming from the Dodgers Stadium to the red line, when you get into this shaft here, you would then get out of your pod and go up the escalators. Then again, there could be an escalator shaft on the other side that is not shown on this diagram. But it is interesting. I've seen criticism of the system previously where they have stated that the actual lift shafts could be a potential bottleneck for the system. I don't think so. I don't think that with a 30-foot shaft, that if you've got an elevator that's doing, say, let's say it can do a top speed of 18 miles per hour, which is pretty reasonable. You know, there are lift shafts in Dubai, actual lifts that do 30, even I believe 40 miles per hour. So I don't think they are, but again, if it can shave off a few seconds and make the system more efficient, it's worth looking at different ideas. So you've got to praise the engineers for trying out different systems. If this system proves not to be as effective as a lift shaft, you could easily just close the top of that lift shaft, almost drop a lid on there, and then have extra lift shafts installed to make it more efficient. So you could have maybe 4 lift shafts. Methods for getting the passengers out of the pods efficiently. Here's another diagram that was included on the Boeing Company page. So as you can see, there are 3 potential routes for this tunnel. As you can see, Dodger Stadium, so it's either going to go to Beverly Station here, Santa Monica Station here, or Sunset Station. The tunnel length will obviously vary, so it may turn out that the tunnel is around 4.5 miles like I am seeing on Google Maps when I use Santa Monica or Sunset Station. So it'll be interesting to see which one comes out on top. Who knows, they might even do 2. It could happen. It could happen. It might be an even better idea doing that actually. They linked up 2. Because obviously you've got people heading, north on the red line, you've got people heading south on the red line. So if you could have both, that would help with capacity. So yeah, really, really pleased to see the plans. It makes perfect sense to me. This is a heavily travelled route. You've got thousands and thousands of people jumping into taxis and using the car to get from this kind of area and head east to the Dodger Stadium. So giving people a second option here definitely makes sense, and it could prove to be a very successful business. If you're charging people $3 to $4, I don't think, again, I keep saying this, but I don't think $1. I think at $1 you'd probably make a loss. So I'm surprised they're still putting that in there. Maybe the $1 is for off-peak. Who knows? So, wow. Really, really, really excited, really, when I read the news this morning. It's been picked up by various media outlets. Really excited to see this. I think this is a really good project. There's obviously other projects in the works. It's good to see that this company is growing very quickly, very, very quickly. We've got lots of projects. We've got projects in Chicago. We've got various projects in LA. We've got the possible Baltimore Hyperloop as well. So again, things are really going quite quickly at the Boring Company. Hopefully they can match this by developing the TBMs quickly and producing something very, very fast, quite quickly. I think they will. We should never write off Elon Musk. So yeah, this is amazing. The developments just keep on coming. I'm expecting maybe a couple more announcements in the next 6 to 12 months. Maybe even we might even hear something new about Chicago. Who knows? Really excellent. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching this channel. There's going to be big new content coming out soon. I'm working on a few things at the moment. I think that there's a lot of potential for this company. It's going to expand quite quickly. I think they're going to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. Hopefully they can get this through planning rather quickly. That's my only concern really, is the actual planning element. However, Elon Musk is working very, very closely with the actual Metro, LA Metro, and the LA Council. So I imagine that this is going to be a complete success. Thank you for watching. Appreciate all the support. And remember, guys, don't be boring. Peace out.